Life is a lonely world. Occasionally it's open spaces filled with crowds of friends, family, lovers. Some are permanent, some are temporary, but they're never always physically present. It's impossible. And that's what hurts the most, isn't it? That's when the loneliness really sinks in. And when you're in it, it's easy to forget that it's a universal experience. The lack of your own coherent objectivity leaves you asking, did I do something wrong? Am I meant to feel like this lonely? Am I meant to yearn for this much physical contact? Why is it? Is it because I'm tarnished?
Please don't take forever again. Go to mine and feel.
Before we get into the meat of the video, I just want to say a big thank you for even clicking on it. And I also want to let you know this is not a lore video. This is the third part in a series of my journey through Elden Ring and how I interpret it, and maybe you'll take something nice away from it. There might be little sprinklings of lore in there and my own interpretations of it, but I'm not by any means a lore expert on the lands in between. And also you can become a channel member now. More on that at the end of the video, but if you're interested, it would mean a lot. It'd really help the channel out. And consider leaving a like. I always feel silly saying that, but it helps the channel out. Anyway, let's get into it.
I love you, but I think I'm dead.
So I had just beaten Rhea Lucaria, I had beaten Renala, and I decided to go into the Caria Manor, and that shit was fucking weird. It was creepy. I came across the finger creepers. They made me jump quite a lot. I wish I was recording the audio of me playing it, because a lot of it was just me going, ah, ah, oh shit, ah, ah. But it was very unsettling, that place, and Caria Manor in general felt like it was a holdover of a long gone era, like it was a ghost of something, like it was desperate to carry on being what it was. In fact, everything magic related in the world of Elden Ring, it's all very unsettling. It's like magic is not meant to exist almost, and it's created a lot of monstrous, creepy, unsettling things like Renala's Sweetings, the Finger Creepers, the Cuckoo Knights, the town of Celia, the sorcery town where you fight the two twins, and there's a lot of ghostly apparitions of mages and warriors and guards and wandering nobles. It's all a bit creepy, but going through Caria Manor and then leaving it to go through Altus Plateau, it kind of really reinforced the idea that this is a post-apocalyptic or slow apocalypse of a world, and that everything is kind of left behind and that it's in ruins. The Lands Between feels much like an old empire that used to be, and it fell much like most empires will do. The empire that we're in now is going to fall down, sorry to break it to you. And all that's left in this dead empire are literal leftover ghosts. These ghosts that wander around, whether it's the undead wandering nobles or the ghostly apparitions, the finger creepers, the cuckoo knights, the knights in general, the weird big-headed birds and dogs in Caelid, anything and everything. It's all kind of a big leftover ghost of something great that used to be, and you get this feeling that they're all grieving and that they want to hold on to what it once was, and that's why they just fight everything, because it's like this big self-defense of their own legacy. And of course, like almost everything in Elden Ring, I had to fight my way through the Altus Plateau to get there. I had to fight my way through this underground dungeon, I guess, and on the way I fought a lot of those big bat creatures and a couple of those bat women. And I'm going to get into that right now because I talked about that in my Undead video very briefly, and a few people mentioned that the song that they sing is called Song of Lament, and it's actually a song literally written in Latin. Just in case you don't know, but you probably do if you're watching this, the Bat Ladies sing, I don't know what they're actually called, I don't know if they're called Bat Ladies, I'd imagine they're not. They sing a song that's in Latin, and it's very sad, and it just kind of feels like it's a lot of pain inside of it. So here's what the translation is. Oh, that land, formerly blessed, now withered. We have been destined for motherhood, but now have become disfigured. We wailed and wept, but no one comforted us. Golden One, At whom are you so angry? I don't know whether they were once people and they were just kind of malformed into this thing after the shattering, and a lot of the world of Elden Ring, there's just a lot of sadness to it. But you get the sense with these guys that maybe they were forced into this beastly figure that they are now. I mean, their necks look in pain, they kind of look up and they sing, and it's just a sad sight. Maybe they're fighting to protect their own humanity. Maybe they see us Tarnished as a threat. But eventually I arrived at the Altus Plateau, and somehow I wound up at the Shaded Castle. And as soon as I saw the Shaded Castle, I walked up that small little hill and I saw it, and I just had this overwhelming feeling of, I don't even know what to describe it as, just I wanted to conquer it. I saw this big castle and I just thought, yeah, I'm going to take that. Maybe not a great thought that I had, but I just saw it and I thought I want that castle. It's very interesting, and it's kind of drowned a bit by some toxic swamp and surrounded by all those little toxic slugs. And I've said in Elden Ring that I love how ambiguous a lot of it is. I love how the lore is very shrouded in mystery. This is no exception. The Shaded Castle is, whilst drowning, it's still big and daunting, and you're not quite sure which angle to approach it at. I walked around the left side, round to the back, and I approached a cliff. And at that cliff, I just stared into nothing, and for a moment, the Shaded Castle, waiting to be conquered, suddenly felt unimportant. I just kind of forgot about everything and I just stared into it. And the weight of that feeling of wanting to conquer the Shaded Castle, it kind of lifted, and I felt a quiet calm and relief just staring out. And that blankness made me realise that all of this might not be so important, that my tarnished nature might actually be worth contemplating. So far, I've been blindly fighting through this world. I've been trying to do whatever I can to reach some sort of goal that I'm not even sure what the fucking goal is. It's all so ambiguous. And I knew that after this contemplation, I would no doubt go back and start fighting in this world that I've been thrown into. But right now, I needed to just take a minute to absorb it all. The word tarnished is incredibly loaded, and you keep getting called tarnished throughout the thing. But to be tarnished means that something has lost its luster or its worth, and there's a lot of negative connotations to it. So if I'm tarnished, does that mean that I've lost my luster? Does that mean that I've lost my worth? Am I not valuable? Does this world just see me as something to chew up and spit out? I mean, clearly the amount of things that I'm fighting and the things that want me dead. I know it's a video game, but I was just kind of staring out into this abyss, and it just kind of made me think, well, I'm tarnished. I'm tarnished in real life, probably. We're all a bit tarnished. There's something wrong with all of us. I have to do something about that, don't I? Am I not worthy of love? Am I not worthy of being considered a person? A full person, not just this tarnished fuck up? But then I turned back around and I went to go and conquer the Shaded Castle like I initially planned. In other words, I just thought, fuck it, I'm tarnished. So I fought through the Shaded Castle, and much like the Caria Manor, it all felt a bit like a ghost of something, and a lot of it was unsettling, covered in swamps and poison and these leftover guards, and a lot of it was guarded by some of Melania's people. Hello, Future Sam here, just popping in to say, I know that I've pronounced it wrong. I didn't realise it's not pronounced Melania like Donald Trump's wife, it's Millennia. Right? Millennia? Am I getting that right? All I know is that she was the offspring of Marika, and she's one of the demigods. More on that later, actually. But then I decided to move on. I didn't do the final boss. I'm going to go back to it. I just wanted to go and do some other things. Eventually, as I carried on through Altus Plateau, I came across the belching worm faces, these big worm-headed things with a bunch of worms inside their head, and as you traverse through the place that they guard, that they kind of reside, you hear a lot of belching, a lot of coughing, and you kind of feel bad for them, and you feel a bit gross. But unlike the undead that I stated in my previous video, I didn't feel bad about killing them, because with them, it's very much kill or be killed. They spit out this thing called death bile. I think that's what it's called. Somebody correct me if that's not what it's called. Hi, it's Future Sam again. Two things. One, it's death blight, not death bile. And two, stop picking your ear. But they're coughing in a lot of pain because inside of them, they literally have death-tainted bile, and it comes out as this saliva that will stop at nothing to kill you and impale you with its spikes. Yeah, fucking weird. Welcome to Elden Ring. There's not much lore surrounding them. I did try and look up some stuff, and I tried to see if there'd be any item descriptions, but there's not a whole lot about them. They just kind of have death living in them. Maybe they were once people as well, much like the Bat Ladies. And then I managed to fight a few of them, snuck past a few of them because I couldn't be arsed to deal with all the death bile. And then I came across Windmill Village. Somebody call A24 because we've got a new Midsummer film. This place is fucking weird, man. You walk in and rather than the belches of the worm faces, you get the laughs of these maniacal old ladies who are dancing around and they seem perfectly happy with what they're doing. But if you approach them way too close or if you touch them, they will attack you with red eyes like they've been taken over something. I get the vibe that they probably killed a lot of people to get where they are. Maybe they weren't quite sure on what to do with themselves and they just formed this big cultish village, this little commune of old ladies laughing and dancing like children. Came across the Godskin Apostle and it was actually kind of an easy fight. I struggled quite a few times, but after I did it over and over again and I learnt the moves and I figured out, you know, when to perfectly dodge and when to attack and what it would do during certain attacks and stuff, it kind of became quite easy. And I just thought maybe this is what those old disfigured women were kind of worshipping. Maybe you do see a few of them on their knees worshipping something, and I wonder if they saw that thing and decided that it was their god. But after seeing both the Worm Faces and Windmill Village, after seeing such misery and sadness on my journey through Elden Ring and through the lands between, after seeing a lot of the conditions that the people live in, how hostile they all are, how they seem to be living in this world and accepting all of its many, many flaws that no one should have to live through. While some of them praise Marika or the Erd Tree or the demigods, I started to feel a certain sentiment towards Marika and the Erd Tree and these demigods. And that sentiment was, fuck you, man. I kind of decided, and I'm going to get into this a bit more, that these demigods, they're not gods. Maybe you could say that Marika was a god because she was given the runes and all of that stuff, but her children, they're not fucking demigods. They're just spoilt brats. When I started to feel that sentiment, I suddenly re-met with a girl that I'd met earlier called Raya. So Raya kept saying that I am a warrior with promise, that I have valor or something and that I could do really great things for this Volcano Manor. And she took me to Volcano Manor and I was greeted by what felt very much like a cult. This woman in a mask with a big henchman behind her was sat on a little chair. Maybe it's meant to be a throne, but it didn't really look like a throne. And she basically said, "You could be one of us, bro, but if you don't want to, you've got to go. You've got to leave." She mentioned that she wanted to rebel against the Erd Tree, against the Two Fingers. And when I was told that, a part of me kind of thought, you know what? Yeah. Fuck 'em, I'll join you. So I went to the drawing board and one of the guys there told me that I would have to kill quite a few Tarnished. I didn't understand why I had to kill Tarnished. They're very vague, and I know that Elden Ring is very vague, but I feel like this cult Volcano Manor thing was purposefully vague. Like, they didn't want to tell me what we were actually doing. I was told that I would have to kill quite a few Tarnished. And that it would be no easy task, and that it would be basically killing my own kind. And there was a man there that I had met at the Round Table Hold who had just lost his sister, I believe, and he was in a vulnerable place when I first met him. He was angry, and now he's at the Volcano Manor. And I just think it's quite interesting that they clearly saw this vulnerable man and brought him in. I was kind of curious still. I wanted to see what this whole deal was about, so I went to go and kill the first Tarnished, Istvan. Before doing that, I spoke to the woman in charge again, and she said that we were recusants of a sort. A recusant is someone who opposes authority or doesn't bend the knee to them, essentially. And so they want to turn Tarnished into Recusants. They want to use us as weapons, sort of. I did the first contract. I was kind of curious what this whole deal was. I came across Old Knight Istvan, and when I killed him, it was kind of easy, I'm not going to lie. And I did it, and I felt a bit dirty. And I took his armor, and I wore it maybe as a way to remember him. And I started to kind of realize that all this Volcano Manor is doing is causing infighting between Tarnished. And that doesn't solve the problem. Because the truth is that Volcano Manor just is not productive in any way, shape or form. You are a Tarnished, right? You are Tarnished. Whatever that means, whatever you want to interpret it as, maybe it means there's something wrong with you. All you know is that you can't die. You keep dying and then you come back. Seemingly like everything in this world, you're just kind of being forced to come back to life and fight. But Volcano Manor is not in any way productive, and they know that it's not productive. If it was productive, they would explain their goals, but they don't actually have any real goals. All they do is they show you the thing that's in front of you, which is more Tarnished people, and they convince you that the Tarnished, who are trying to become Elden Lord, who are trying to do all this stuff for the Two Fingers, they're telling you that they're evil and you should go and kill them. But aren't I a Tarnished as well? People who try to solve long-term, wider problems by taking out or eliminating things directly in front of them will never be able to solve anything. But unfortunately, those people will always be successful and popular with others because they recognise that people find it easier to place blame rather than think things through. Businesses use this tactic to get you on side. Politicians use this tactic. Cults use this tactic. So it's easier to pit the Tarnished against other Tarnished from other worlds against one another and convince them that they're the problem rather than focusing on the wider picture of the spoilt brat demigods. And this is how fascism happens. Yep, we've gotten to that point in the channel, we're talking about fascism. I mean, when you look at the way the world is going, placing blame on immigrants, placing blame on things that are in front of them that seem easier to blame rather than looking at the larger structure in front of them, looking at the wider problem, the system that's put in place that is so needlessly complicated to confuse the people, when actually it's incredibly simple. It just requires long-term thinking. But if you distract people with the smaller things, if you distract them with the stuff that is right in front of them, if you convince them that that immigrant is going to take your job, people find it much easier to hate something that is actually quite similar to them but just have traits that are just a little bit different, whether it's skin colour, sexuality, where they're from, their disability. People find it so much easier to hate things. And you need to see past that. You need to see past that hate. You need to realise that we're all kind of similar and we should form communities and we should try and build off one another's success, and the people in power who are out there for their capitalistic, greedy economic needs, or wants more like, they need to fucking go, man. And in Elden Ring, I feel like personally this sentiment is carried over with the demigods. These demigods are so powerful and they place these bosses in front of you and they have all of these massive powers that they just kind of seem unfathomable, and you kind of realise that they've called themselves demigods, really, but they're just fucking spoiled brat people who are just very powerful, and it's up to us Tarnished to take them down. Oof, anyway, sorry. Rant over. Caelid. Anyway, after I did that, I decided to go back to Caelid because I realised I'd kind of neglected it and I hadn't gone past the town of sorcery. Look, I've used words like unsettling and creepy and decaying during this series of my Elden Ring journey. But Caelid really puts it into perspective, and it's really hard to settle on a word that describes Caelid because yeah, it is decaying, but it's rotten. It's very different to the rest of the world, and as far as I can tell, there's not a massive main story plot within Caelid. I mean, how do you even describe Caelid? Torn apart, ripped up, scavenged, death incarnate. And like the Shaded Castle, it all feels very ghostly. I mean, in the town of Celia, there are those ghosts, and there are the monster birds with big heads and the monster hounds with big heads. But eventually, you find this big castle where the Radahn festival is taking place. Turns out, it's this big festival to kill one of the demigods called Radahn. I say demigods, but you know me, I'm going to call them a spoilt brat. And maybe it's wrong of me to minimise the gods as spoilt brats, but they've branded me Tarnished, so if they want to brand me Tarnished, I'm going to brand them spoilt brats, fuck them. But eventually, a lot of us work together to defeat Radahn. You summon a lot of people and you go and fight him, and it feels so satisfying to do so. You do it and you kind of feel like you've worked as a team to accomplish something. You've built community, you're supporting one another, you're bringing people back. It's brilliant. Rather than hating each other and fighting each other and the infighting that is not productive, we're all joining forces to kill this spoilt brat demigod Radahn, and it feels so good. It feels productive. There's a lot of camaraderie in it. And okay, maybe in a sense I am a little tarnished. I'm not perfect. I've got the odd imperfection here and the odd mistake there or flaw there. But that's just being human, isn't it? We're all a little tarnished. And yeah, maybe I do keep blindly fighting my way through the world. And sometimes I do fail to see further ahead of me, and I do see what's right in front of me, and I place blame on that thing that's right in front of me. And as I said at the beginning of this video, sometimes I blame myself. Sometimes I think maybe it's because I am tarnished. Maybe it's because there is something wrong with me. And it's very easy to just fight the thing that's right in front of you because, well, that's easier. But I'm still here, aren't I? I've still managed it. I still do see a larger picture of what it is that I'm doing. I've made it this far. And yeah, it is hard when the loved ones that you hold dear are not physically present all the time. But that's unfortunately just the way it is. Tarnished or not, I'm doing fine. And I will kill the demigods that made me feel less than that. Mark my words. People need to have more faith in what they're doing, and you need to keep fighting your way through it. In my first Elden Ring video, I said that this game taught me a fighting spirit, and it taught me that I need to keep going even when it's hard. And I feel that on a much deeper level now that I'm still playing it and that I'm getting further through it, and I'm realising more of not just what the game and its mechanics mean and what it's trying to teach me about beating the game's difficulty, but also what the actual literature and what the story of the place is trying to teach me and what it represents about the real world. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I feel like this one might be a little bit longer than the other ones, but I split it into 4 parts, and yeah, it really means a lot. You can join the Moon Days community Discord where we talk about games that have made us feel something, or we talk about Elden Ring, or you could talk about anything. It's good. We've got a nice little community of people there that just talk about things that we've done. And it's not just strictly video games, there's TV shows, we talk about music. It's quite nice. And also, drum roll please, you can now become a member of Moon Days. It's a subscription base, and I understand that a lot of you aren't going to want to pay loads of money to support this channel. I mean, I completely fucking get it. I'm a small channel. I'm filming this on an iPhone right now, but what I will say is if you do decide to join for a very small fee, it would really help the channel out quite a lot, and you'll get some behind the scenes stuff of upcoming videos, and we'll have our own little private Discord area, and hopefully you'll also have some input in the videos. I might ask your opinion on whether certain things make sense or whether certain editing choices make sense. Future Sam here, just popping in again to say, since recording this, we've had our first member. His name is Derek Arthur. Incredible first name and last name, both first names, but you're making it work. And his Discord name is something very interesting. But yeah, thank you so much, Derek, for being the first member. Genuinely means a lot. Can't quite believe we've got one already. We've got them, boys. I'm really genuinely proud of this channel. Like, I know it's not big, and I know it's still quite small, but I'm making something now. I'm building a community, and all I ever wanted was a community, and I'm building something based on something that I love, and I've never been able to fully do that before. I used to be a musician. I won an award for it, but it was always felt like a game. It always felt like you had to play the game of the business, and whenever I was working in offices or in B2B, didn't like it. It wasn't me, and this is something that I genuinely love. you know, I spent 2 years writing a novel, trying to get that published. I've created this channel now. I'm talking about things that I love and people seem to be interested, and it's so nice that we all have similar experiences, and in the comments people share it and talk about how they feel. It's just a really nice, it's just nice, man. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but this genuinely makes me happy, and just thank you so much for getting involved. And there'll be more Elden Ring videos coming soon. Let me know if you want to see any other games. Apart from Dark Souls and Bloodborne, I'm going to get to them after Elden Ring, and they'll be their own series. But if there's any other games that you'd like me to cover, let me know. I'm thinking of doing Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core next, or maybe Mass Effect, or maybe The Walking Dead. You know what? I'll do a poll. Thank you very much.